name's Romans, I'm from London. I'm a songwriter and producer, and then I'm an artist as well. That's sort of a more recent thing, but I suppose I've always been making songs for no real purpose. I mean, I did loads of stuff at school. I played the drums and guitar and piano and did all the grades and the sort of the technical side of stuff, and I was always singing, and I was in like a Led Zeppelin tribute band at school. I started using Fruity Loops, which I think is where a lot of people these days kind of started out. It's like the sort of the free, simple platform for making music, and then made loads of tracks, made loads of like garage tracks and drum and bass tracks, which was what I was listening to at the time in England, and that kind of taught me about production, and then just sort of implemented playing instruments into it and programming and learnt Logic. And yeah, and just, it's one of those things, it's like you just keep putting hours and hours into it, and then eventually your skills elevate. I kind of say now that it's about moments. You've got to create, it's not about hooks or about big choruses, it's just about that moment in a song that feels special, and that can be a guitar riff, or that can be a drum beat, or a melody, or a lyric. So it's always a completely different thing. It's just trusting instinct really, more than having a method. Naughty Boy, who's obviously a very celebrated producer in England, we had a session together. Won't be a long time till we get back home. And we wrote that song the first day that I met him. I actually showed up to his studio and he was asleep. It was like pitch black, he was asleep on the couch. He had no idea that we were supposed to be working together. And literally, he played the backing track of Home. I wrote it in like 15 minutes, and then he called me that evening and told me it was the single. It was like the quickest turnaround of any song. There's a bit of a culture of love for British music at the moment, which is a cool thing. I mean, obviously when you look at, Ed Sheeran and Sam Smith and, Amy Winehouse and, some amazing, amazing people who've come out of England, and there seems to just be a lot of love for the UK at the moment, so I suppose it's a good time. I've made an album. It's been finished now for a couple of weeks. It's like a whole sort of spectrum of music on it. It came out of a really interesting place, which was, I never started the album intending it to be an album for me. There were songs on there that I just wrote randomly, and songs that I wrote with other people in mind, and it's turned into now a kind of an interesting sort of sonic mood board of loads of things that I love, and I've kind of used the opportunity of being able to go and make an album with a budget to explore some of the things I love, like doing a Motown song with all the authentic instruments that people used to use, or doing something a bit more modern, or one of the tracks on the album is a 6.5-minute symphony that I wrote for an orchestra and recorded at Abbey Road, and it's sort of like completely random mix of things, but that's me. Hi, I'm Romans. Look for me on Last.fm.